What we're working with today still uses rates and ratios and stuff, but we're going to do them in what's called a proportion. So basically, if we have a problem like this, it says it requires 3/4 of a cup of flour to make 6 cupcakes. How could we figure out how much flour it would take to make 9 cupcakes? Anybody got an idea? All right, so she said if you got 3/4 a cup of flour for 6 cupcakes, you can figure out how much it costs, or not costs, how much flour it uses for 1 cupcake, and then multiply that by 9. So use the unit rate, right? The proportions we're going to do are going to show us a slightly different way of doing that. It's still going to basically do the same math, though. So there on page 76 in the workbooks, you got, it says if we know the price for an item, it doesn't have to be price, it could have been like flour like that last one. We can find the price for, I think that's supposed to say multiples of that item as well. Basically, if we know the price of an item, or like I said, the unit rate in general, we can figure out the price for anything, or any number of those. So the example here, you got $7.50 for 6 bagels. For 1 bagel, all we would have to do is $7.50 divided by 6. That's what we've been doing. That gives us $1.25. Down here at the bottom, we got $7.50 for 6 bagels. It wants to know how much for 12 bagels. Well, all that is doubling it, right? 6 to 12 times 2. So you would do the same thing on the top, times 2. Those are kind of easy, right? This first one is what we were doing, finding the unit rate. The second one is an equivalent ratio with a relatively easy number to use. We went from 6 to 12, so that was times 2. They're not always going to be easy to use numbers, though. You saw that going from 6 cupcakes to 9 cupcakes. You can't just multiply, well, you could multiply by like 1 1/3, but that's not always an easy number to recognize, right? Oh, sorry, 1 1/2, not 1 1/3. Anyhow, there for number 5 then. So sometimes the unit amount we are looking for isn't an exact conversion, like I was just saying. When this happens, we can use what they're looking for here is the word cross products. In math, to get a product, what type of math are you doing? Multiplication. So cross products means we're going to cross multiply. Specifically, the way this works, they give a proportion here. I got kind of like 2 fractions, right? One of the spots is blank. So what you do is you cross multiply the 2 numbers that are diagonal from each other. So 750 times 10. Then, whatever number is diagonal from the blank, you divide by. So 750 times 10 gave you 75. 75 divided by, in this case, 6 would give you 1250. Makes sense? At least a little bit so far? I'm going to not do that one because that's one of those easy ones. So what it says is we've got a balloon that rises 9 meters every 3 seconds. It's not exactly the easiest thing to read on that picture. I don't think it is in your workbooks either. Too easy to read, but that's what it says. It rises 9 meters every 3 seconds. So watch. 9 meters. I've got 3 seconds then, right? 9 meters, 3 seconds. Would it matter which one's on top, which one's on the bottom? Yes. No. Does not matter where I put each one. What matters is my labels are going to have to match. So the other number I have is right here in the question. How many meters will the balloon rise in 47 seconds? This is where this matters. Where should I put the 47 seconds? On the top or the bottom? Bottom. It goes on the bottom because it has to match. You see I got seconds, and then when I solve this, it's going to have meters on top. Make sense? All right, so calculator, we would do 47 times 9, the two numbers that are diagonal from each other, and divide by 3, the number diagonal from the blank. 141? Okay? We follow? All right, so like I said, where you put things doesn't matter. A little bit. It doesn't matter where you put it to start with. What matters is the sides have to match. So let's say I got a ratio for a class. If I've got boys and girls, I can put boys, girls. The other side, it's got to be boys, girls, right? I could put the girls on top, boys on the bottom. That would work too, as long as it's the same on both sides. If we got money, it's got to match with money. They got to match across. Everybody follow? So if it's money per pound, money over pounds, money over pounds. That's the part that matters. How you set up the one side, it can be mixed up a little bit. All right, so we got the ratio of peanuts to raisins in a snack mix is 5 to 4. If it gives you a ratio, use the ratio as half the proportion. So the ratio, 5 to 4, 5 to 4. Now, which number's peanuts, which number's raisins? 5 is peanuts, raisins is 4, because it says peanuts to raisins. Remember, the order matters for ratios. This is how the order matters. It's got to match. Peanuts was first, 5 was first. Raisins second, 4 second. Okay? Now, what's the other number they give me? 200 what? Peanuts. So where's that go? On the top. All right, am I allowed to have a blank on the bottom? Yeah, no, I can have a blank on the bottom. Because the way this works, we're cross-multiplying the two that are diagonal from each other. Okay? So 200 times 4, and then you divide by the one that's diagonal from the blank. So 160. And it was how many raisins? You know, that was raisins. Okay? Especially with a calculator, this math is not horribly hard, is it? It's multiply and then divide. Okay? You just got to make sure wherever the blank is, you multiply the two that are diagonal from each other that have like a match, a diagonal match. The one that's diagonal from the blank is what you divide by. All right, so with prices, same idea. We just set it up. It doesn't matter which one's on top. I usually, if I'm writing it, I'm going to put the money on top. Because usually for a unit rate, when we were doing unit rates, it was money divided by something. So I'm not going to label that, but that's 6 oranges, okay? I don't feel like writing out the whole word, and if I label it with a O, it's going to look like 60. And we're looking for 11 oranges, so that goes on the bottom. So what? $3.96. And look, it should kind of make sense, right? Even though we don't directly think, oh, 6 times what equals 11, that's close to times 2, right? Because 11's almost double. If we doubled that, that'd be a little bit over $4. So it's pretty close. Okay? Any questions on this? All right, try this one. It's the cupcakes we were talking about. All right, who can give me the answer? All right, he said 1 1/8 or 9/8 if it was an improper fraction. That is correct. Who can come up here and write the proportion? You can just write with your finger.
Wait, how it was on the calculator?
How you wrote it out? All right. Any questions on that? Now, I'm going to add a little bit of a requirement for our work today, just as we get used to this, okay? When you write your proportions, I want you to label each of them, okay? So that 3/4 should say flour or cups, right? The 6, the 9 should be cupcakes. Your 1/8 should be, or your 1 1/8 should be flour also. Everybody clear on that? The other requirement then, just to make things a little bit easier for all of us, in case the blank is somewhere else, circle the answer each time with your work. Okay?